Alright, this is going to be a quick market outlook for the coming week. I expect it to be rather slow due to Christmas time, end of the year. We're going to go over some key things we're seeing on the charts. So we're seeing a lot of things on the monthly reaching key demand and rejecting, and we're seeing a lot of other opposing charts reaching supply on the monthly. So here is US dollar, Swiss franc. It's reaching this key monthly demand area. Same with Euro USD, reaching this key monthly supply. GBP again reaching this key monthly supply zone. And the kind of general trend, UJ, is that we are reaching some monthly demand on the dollar and supply on all other currencies. So, although it is the monthly, it can take a while to play out. I'm thinking we're going to see some kind of reversal around early part of the year and a continuation of the trend to the downside for all other risk-on currencies against the dollar beginning in the early spring. So let's go through all these on the weekly. On the weekly, it took this level, it came back to this key demand area, may have taken this weekly liquidity, bouncing up, but be careful because it's still in a rather strong downtrend and hasn't quite broken it on the 4 area. So what I'm looking at is possibly a kind of scalp trade off of this 4-hour point of interest right here. Maybe shorting that down till it finds some strength down here and then riding it back up. It could be a longer term buy position, but we'll see how it does with this point of interest here. Or if it taps this, it may just blast right through it and then retrace an entry. Those are our two main entry models. That's pretty much it for USD CHF. Euro dollar, not too much to see here besides we're still in this bull trend. We're expecting a reversal, but on the daily I want to see that reverse first. It's coming into this daily demand zone. So how I'm thinking of playing this is it's coming down into this demand. I'm expecting to see it get some kind of bounce somewhere in here. I would say this type of area. And what may happen first is it may come back up, tap this, and then make its way down. This will be a scalp down to here. Maybe hold a runner down if it decides to break lower. But I'm not totally sure. We'll have to wait and see when we get there. If it comes back up here, I would look to short it down to this area or play a bounce at least off of this zone, curling upwards. But we'll see validity when we get there. I'm just setting alerts. That's Euro USD. USD CAD has been a bit interesting on the monthly. It's tapped this monthly demand, challenged this monthly supply, and not moved down all that much on the very higher time frames. Tapped this weekly demand, moved higher. It's coming into weekly supply though, so we could anticipate price to reverse again, find some rejection up here, maybe in this refined area, right in here, but I'm not totally sure. It may just break right through since we already have liquidity here building, an area here that hasn't been mitigated. So you could see I kind of planned it on the weekly, just barely missed my area, shot up back up. challenging these areas though. That makes this distribution here look kind of weak because it should have broken below here, but it's not. So I would be looking, if it gets down in this area, to long it back up, or down here to long it back up. But we may be decent in a scalp here, but it would be a bit riskier. Unless you saw, a clean take of these highs and rejection, then it might be a good idea to short it back down to these, 1.35 level. But we'll see. I expect it to kind of stay in this kind of range here for the rest of the year. GBP, we saw GBP was on the monthly reversing. On the daily, it is looking quite weak. I'm actually going to have to move this to the top of my chart because I'm liking the looks of this. So basically, it's looking weak. We have this daily demand that it is nearly invalidated. Not quite, but nearly. And it's currently, chopping at this area and likely a breakdown here. I'm expecting it to break down, enter on retracement, or so something like breakdown, retrace, short it down to here or lower, or I'm expecting a retracement and then a push back down. Either one of those I would be looking to sell. Buying in here, I don't like it because it went very deep into this daily point of interest, and it could be viable, but I personally will be staying out of that. I think GBP could be on a rather sharp reversal downward, coming all the way back down to here over the next coming months, maybe 6 months. We'll see how it develops. I could be wrong, but that's what I am thinking will happen, because we're rejecting off that monthly demand or monthly supply. Expected to come back down to here at least on the weekly 1.16 level, and see what happens. Now we're going to get into GJ. GJ looking overall rather bullish, but pretty choppy at the moment. Yeah, just pretty choppy in this range. Not really liking this too much. Maybe try entering at some range extremes, but this is definitely more of a scalp type chart. EJ is looking better than GJ. We had this strong weekly push to the upside. On the daily, it's them broken this and this daily downtrend, and is starting to move higher again. So what I'm looking for is a reaction off of here, which we may be seeing now, or a reaction down here to have it retrace and then continue higher. So something like bounce off here and up, or come down here, bounce and up. And I do think the euro is probably on a bit of a higher run since the ECB came out very hawkish. They are saying that there's many more rates to come, so I think euro versus JPY is likely going to be strong for some time, although they are heading into recession, so it's kind of unclear which it will be. But we'll see. I guess for the moment I think it will go higher, but anything can happen. So moving on to AJ, it's a bit choppy again. I'm getting the opinion that this is a reversal but it is not confirmed, so I can't say that for certain. On the 4-hour, pretty much we're waiting for this to make a lower low. This made a weekly lower low, retraced to the sponsor area. Let's see if it makes a weekly lower low. If it can't, then this may go higher, but if it does, then what we'll look for, and this is on the weekly, we'll look for the move down and then retracement and enter off this weekly candle, try to get a move back down to somewhere in here. That would be quite a trade and quite a lot of move and opportunity. In the shorter term, we're waiting to see if this makes a substantial lower low. That's kind of creating liquidity here. So I would wait personally till we break, but the bigger picture is pointing downwards for now. So this is UJ, which we talked about earlier, was coming into monthly demand. Here's weekly demand. It's reacting off of rather somewhat strongly. We do not have a daily reversal signal, but we have a 4-hour reversal signal, and it seems to be kind of accumulating down here. I'm expecting it to possibly come down to this level and find some support, if not breaking and continuing the trend, but I feel that because of the monthly, it's going to chop here and then go much higher as the US dollar finds strength against all of the other pairs. So expecting this down here, may or may not happen, we'll see. That's about all I have for you guys. Forex Factory, we'll go over the news. Last week we had Powell talking, the CPI and FOMC, and the FOMC basically said there's ways to go on rate hikes. So I'm expecting the dollar to gain a bit of strength, as well as the euro, because they both came out and said something. While it also seems clear that the US is headed into a recession, with 44 coming out on the flash services PMI. That is contraction territory. So I'm expecting more recession type themes. Typically in a recession, people flee to safe havens such as yen or the dollar. So this week we got not a lot except for the yen tomorrow night, or tomorrow, and then look like some yen rates, some yen Bank of Japan decisions, and then CAD CPI, US consumer confidence on Wednesday. That'll be interesting. I'm betting it will be kind of bad because of Black Friday being a kind of bad sales number from last week, so I'm expecting that to probably be bearish push on risk on and bullish for the US dollar. Final GDP, unemployment, not the biggest deals. And then Friday, again, not much. So it'll be a decent week, probably more of a scalp. I wouldn't expect huge moves this week, but definitely more of a scalp and the foreign crosses type of week. So that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you guys. Keep a lookout for these areas. Quickly, I'll go over the SPY, gold, silver on the weekly. It's basically S&P 500. We had just quite a rejection here. I didn't get in these trades, but I almost got in this one. but I'm expecting this. This is a reversal, maybe retrace and enter here, but I'm expecting this to come back down and challenge lower areas. NASDAQ, quite a similar story. It's coming into support. How this reacts this week will be key. All the other ones, IWM, are all very similar. Oil, moving on to oil. Oil's going to made it a lower low, but it's coming into some key demand on the monthly. So we'll see if this wants to rally upwards for a bit, at least to retrace up to this area, fill some before going lower. If we're going into this recessionary theme, then oil should be tracking much lower. And once we lose this, it will be, in my personal opinion, a major confirmation of the recession coming. And we should move in that direction with our trades. Gold is hanging out right around this weekly supply area. It's been hanging out here for a while. I think it's waiting for the US dollar to make its final move to confirm it. The US dollar also has been hanging around in a kind of key area. And on the monthly, we're coming into this monthly candle, so I'm expecting a nice reversal here. Well, gold is coming into this monthly resistance. It could go rally higher, but I'm expecting that if we get this reversal in the dollar to the upside, we will also get this reversal in gold to the downside. Silver in a kind of similar boat, finding support from here, rallying up, coming into monthly resistance, could be pushing back down to these lower $15 areas. So last but not least, we'll talk about yields. 2-year yield. This is the Fed's rate hike expectations. They started to come down a bit, but haven't moved much. 2-year hasn't really done much. Consolidated below this area, maybe waiting for another move higher, or they'll just start to drop down with inflation expectations dropping and the recession being more confirmed. So once these start coming down aggressively, that's another confirmation of the recession, in my opinion, and I will be trading based on that. 10-year, a bit bigger of a rejection, but still rather bullish, not moving too aggressively. They could have topped, but they also could go for another push higher, which would be likely if we don't have a major rush to safety, i.e. the recession theme kicking in. And lastly, we'll talk about the VIX. So the VIX took this big leg down. It was hanging out around $19, $20 level. Now it's got this big spike up reversal. I'm expecting it to make another big push up as it's reached this 20 level in a bear trend. While we're still in hiking cycle, I'm expecting this to eventually come up here, at least to this 35 level, if not higher. And I think that will coincide with the SPY reaching back to these October lows and early next year probably breaking them for another big leg to the downside. And that would be from here another 10 to 15% down, if not more, to come. So that was a quick overview of what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking. Hope that helps.